We're coming to you live from our studios in Kigali, Rwanda. First, the headlines. On Friday, President Paul Kagame was in Maputo, Mozambique, where he was welcomed by President Nyusi at the office of the president for a discussion, followed by a bilateral meeting with both delegations. Also coming up on Friday, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Girene represented His Excellency President Paul Kagame at the inauguration ceremony of Samuel Matekane, the new Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho. Thank you for choosing RTV News here in Rwanda and beyond. I am Isabel Masozera. Top of our edition on Friday, President Paul Kagame was in Maputo, Mozambique, where he was welcomed by President Nyusi at the office of the president for a discussion, followed by a bilateral meeting between both delegations. Discussions between the two delegations centered around areas of the ongoing cooperation. Now, later during the day, the head of state of Rwanda visited Maputo and a market where he spoke to citizens about the partnership between Rwanda and Mozambique. We now cross over to Mozambique to speak to Rwanda's ambassador to Mozambique. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us.
Boa noite, Isabel. That's how we say good evening in Portuguese. Boa noite.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to speak to us. We want to begin with what this visit signifies for the relations between the two countries.
Thank you, Isabel, for having me. The visit of His Excellency President Paul Kagame to Maputo come in a context where the cooperation between the two countries has reached another level. We have, as you know, we have joint security troops who are helping Mozambique to stabilize the province of Cabo Delgado. And last visit of His Excellency to Pemba in Cabo Delgado in last year, we signed a number of agreements as well. So this visit come in a context of appreciating and discussing the progress made so far.
Mm-hmm. And if we could talk about the presence of the Rwandan security forces in Mozambique. It's been over a year now. Could you talk to us about what the progress has been so far and also the current situation right now?
Thank you, Isabel. The current situation in our area of responsibility in Cabo Delgado, the situation is calm. The security is stabilized. We are now registering a number of internally displaced people who are returning to their home in the two provinces in the area of our responsibility, and we are also helping Mozambique to stabilize in terms of securing the population, and of course making sure that terrorists do not come back to destabilize Mozambican living there.
Mm-hmm. All right, and what about the local residents? What has been their perception towards having the Rwandan security forces on the ground in Mozambique?
The perception of Mozambicans toward our deployment to Cabo Delgado could also be witnesses where His Excellency today visited what we call Mercado do Peixe. It's a market. It's a fish market with His Excellency President Nyusi. They interacted with the population in Maputo, and Maputo, as you know, is very far from Cabo Delgado. But all of them expressed appreciation, expressed joy of having Rwandan troops assisting Mozambique, and we're working together with their brothers and sisters in Mozambique to stabilize Cabo Delgado. So how they interacted, they told His Excellency the President that they appreciated so much, and they feel like Mozambican and Rwandans, they are brothers and sisters. So it was very clear to the message they give to His Excellency.
All right. Now, before I let you go, indeed, the brotherhood is felt in one of the milestones that we witnessed recently, where both countries actually decided to remove the visa requirements for holders of passports for the two countries. Can you talk to us about what that agreement actually entails and when that will be enforced?
Isabel, indeed, after our deployment, we witnessed a number of economic initiative between the two investors, of the two countries, and in that way, the two presidents decided that we should ease the movement between the two people. That's why, as you know, we signed an exemption of visa for ordinary passport, for ordinary passport, who could now visit, it will be in force in 90 days, meaning in 3 months. Then it will be easy for Rwandans now to visit Maputo and explore business opportunity, visit families, and interact and foster the friendship between the two people. So the agreement we signed will really impact on how the cooperation is being strengthened.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you.
All right, now before we continue this edition of the news, let us inform you that on Friday, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Jedine represented His Excellency President Paul Kagame at the inauguration ceremony of Samuel Matekane, the new Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho. Dr. Jedine later held discussions with the new Prime Minister of Lesotho and delivered a message from His Excellency Paul Kagame. Moving on, stroke survivors are advising people to take care of their bodies by avoiding alcohol, getting enough rest, exercise, and regular checkups to remain healthy. Take a look.
At only 16 years old, Samira Omutoni got a stroke back in 2015. She's now 25, still in a recovery process. She noted that with more awareness and sensitization, plus early treatment can prevent this disease and save more lives.
It's better that doctors can be aware of stroke and can be the first people to fight against stroke by providing fast services. The community also, from creating awareness, the government can help us to create awareness, to tell people about this disease. Stroke is a dangerous disease. It is deadful, so creating awareness to the society, to the people, even in the villages, from the highest to the lowest.
Ghislaine is another stroke survivor who is now treating the effects of stroke. Based on his experience, his advice to Rwandans is to make sure that you go for checkup in case you experience some symptoms of stroke, like feeling dizzy.
A person should be responsible for his health. You cannot work for 12 or 13 hours a day and go home at 8 p.m., yet you left at 6 a.m. No rest in weekends. You end up getting tired to that extent that you have difficulty seeing, which is a serious indication that you are not well.
Experts say that stroke is caused by failure of blood supply in the brain, and when the blood vessels in the brain burst, it mainly affects those who have non-communicable diseases such as blood pressure, diabetes, and cancer. Dr. Evariste Ntaganda of the Rwanda Biomedical Center advises everyone to consider measures they usually take for granted.
The only advice that I can give people is just to take measures concerning prevention. Number 2 is to do early detection. Go for screening. Go to the hospital, to the clinics, take your blood pressure measurements, take your blood glucose measurements, know your status, such that in case of bad luck, you are sick, you have either of the disease or condition, then you start treatment. Sports is a prevention for either for people who are not yet sick, even those for those ones who are sick, because our bodies need to be into movement. If you start being in physical immobility, then you are exposing yourself to getting those diseases.
On 29th October every year, World Stroke Day is celebrated, where more awareness is created about this disease by not the government only, but also private sectors play a role in this, as it is explained by Health Program Coordinator at the Private Sector Federation, Leo Pierre Rusanganwa.
We have discussed with the employers about how many hours the employee should work, how long he should rest, and in which condition he should work in. As private sector, we are going to make sure that we don't lose any work. That's our duty.
Health authorities show that stroke is now the third leading cause of death in the country, and the General World Health Organization shows that 398,000 people died of this disease in 2016. Betty Mutone, RTV News.
Thank you, Betty, for that educative report. Now, those spending time at rehabilitation centers appreciate the knowledge they have acquired, and they say that they are now able to contribute positively in society. This was emphasized during a meeting that brought together the Rwanda National Police and young people who were rehabilitated in such centers. Adam Squizera.
It's been 10 months since Uwase Yvonne left the Gitagata Rehabilitation Center located in the Bugesera district.
After leaving Gitagata, I decided not to come back again to illegal activities. I decided to use my knowledge as I was given. Now I'm very grateful to the President of the Republic and the leaders who care about the youth are taking into consideration about their future.
After getting released, she established a hairdressing and beauty salon.
In this salon, we all know about hairdressing. Customers are available since this is the only salon in this area. I can earn about 20,000 per day.
Mundere Viateur, also after getting released from Iwawa Rehabilitation Center, says that he gained knowledge that changed his life.
Coming
from Iwawa up to now, life was changed literally. I even got married. I have macadamia farm. I have a tourism center. All these things, I would not have achieved it if I hadn't changed. After being released from these rehabilitation centers, more than 300 met with the Rwanda National Police to discuss ways to work together to stop crimes. As the Rwanda National Police spokesperson, CP John Bosco Kabera, noted that these young people's positive activities will serve as good example for others who still have poor reputation in the Rwandan society. You can be straightened up if you are crooked. You can also take a lead in influencing others who have not yet reached to that level of changing from evil, from drugs, and improve themselves. These are 300, but we are going to work with the sectors and districts in increasing the numbers and also protecting them to not be tempted in crimes. The Director General of the Rwanda National Rehabilitation Service, Mufurute Fred, points out that the interaction between the police and the youth will be productive in fighting against crime. We started this program of witnessing changes in development because we want to work together with those young people who who have come out from our rehabilitation centers to work together to protect and prevent all crimes that could cause insecurity, especially those related to drug abuse. This youth, named Witness of Change, came from different rehabilitation centers, including Luwawa, Gitagata, and Nyamagabe. The Minister of Local Government, Gatabazi Shamani Vianney, urged those who were released from rehabilitation centers to strive for a better future and keep contributing to the country's development. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. And now, still in health news, the Ministry of Health says that allowing 2 hospitals in Rwanda to offer training programs in the diagnosis and treatment of stomach illnesses will increase the number of medical professionals treating such diseases, making it easier for patients to access the services. More in this report.
The University Teaching Hospital of Kigali and King Faisal Hospital, both of which are located in Kigali City, are the hospitals designated to provide courses for the diagnosis and treatment of stomach diseases. Doctors who take those courses will become experts in treating stomach, liver, among others. Dr. Daniel Ngamije, the Minister of Health, remarked that granting the right to teach medical courses for those illnesses will guarantee patients to receive the care they require without having to wait a long period.
Ubu rero ubwo bushobozi turabubonye kandi iyo wigishije umuntu mu kigo cyemewe n'ikigo cyo kwisi gikurikirana izo.
When you see this ability, it means that the level of education in our country is high, and in terms of equipment. Same with having the ability to have a large number of doctors who will be deployed to different hospitals, so as the patients is prescribed an endoscopy. Patients coming from different regions of the country will easily acquire the services without coming to Kigali in coming days. Normally, the patient who got the transfer is diagnosed in 3 months. There aren't many people who learned about this course, since those who took it typically traveled abroad to learn it, as this program in Rwanda was first begun by 4 doctors, and as time passes, it will grow. The doctor of the International Endoscopy Organization, Dr. Koliwanda Dua, expresses his hope that in the coming days, additional Rwanda hospitals will be permitted to offer endoscopy trainings.
And in our outreach committee, I'm pleased to say that based on this report, King Faisal Hospital in Kigali and Shashuka Hospital in Kigali, 2 centers from the same city were picked up to be the world. And now, I did not come in my visits to the Rwanda military hospital. We met in November, and we are planning now to start working there. And I won't be surprised if there will be 3 centers that will be picked up. Yeah. That's good.
It is expected that in addition to the fact that doctors in Rwanda will be given this knowledge in the country, and thus reduce the cost of those who travel to study abroad, it is also expected that doctors from neighboring countries and other from various continents will also be allowed to receive these courses that will take 2 years. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Moving on, the African Guarantee and Economic Cooperation Fund has held talks with Rwanda's Private Sector Federation and the country's banks with the aim of calling on such institutions to encourage Rwandans to seek the services FAGASI has to offer. Adams Kwizera once more.
FAGAS is an African organization founded in 1977 by 14 African presidents, including Rwanda's. This institution assists companies and individuals with large projects that lack collateral to work with and guarantee financial institutions. Some financial institutions representatives who work with FAGAS says that it has helped them to work better with their customers. Literally, it not only favors residents, since we link clients with big projects which can be approved by FAGAS. FAGAS's headquarters are located in Cotonou, Benin, as these institutions is in talks with the Private Sector Federation and banks to expand its cooperation with Rwanda. FAGAS's representatives in Rwanda pointed out that the goal is to work together for boosting Rwanda's finance.
The reason why we are here is just to make sure that we collaborate very closely with banks in order to make sure that we do our part by boosting financing in Rwanda, working together with banks, working together with private sector and so on, to boost financing in Rwanda.
So far, FAGAS has provided guarantees in Rwanda totaling more than $15.4 billion. The 4 Rwandan financial institutions that work with it have already profited that $7 billion thanks to the guarantees it provides. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
During a press conference, the Rwanda Development Board highlighted that the Tourism Week is an ideal time to showcase Rwandan talent and skills. According to Frank Mugisha, the Director General of the Rwanda Chamber of Tourism in the Private Sector Federation, the Tourism Week, scheduled for November 26th to December 3rd, is designed to expose the beauty of Rwanda and to attract tourists.
This year we are expecting over 15 countries across Africa, Europe and the US who will be convening in Rwanda between 26th of November to 3rd of December. It's a week-long comprising of a series of activities. We'll be launching or inaugurating it officially with day one with the fashion show. Fashion represents one of our biggest segments of the creative industry, which boosts tourism. And there will be a fashion show and a fashion expo on 26th and 26th. And then there will be a farm trip. We'll be bringing the media, the international media, who can sell us abroad and across Africa. And they will be having a farm trip, a familiarization trip, to showcase what Rwanda can offer to the African and also international market of buyers. And we'll then have a restaurant week, by the way, where all key restaurants in Kigali will offer that culinary experience.
A fashion show has been organized as well as other activities. Tourism accounts for 48% of Rwanda's GDP. Now, a question. Can coaching pave the way to the path of that professional life that you've always wanted? I turn to Irumva Iris, who is a business strategist, career and leadership coach, to find the answer to this question and more. In your own understanding and from what you have seen interacting with this, how would you define professional coaching?
I think professional coaching is such a broad topic, in fact. And in my own words, I think that professional coaching is when you look for someone who's going to guide you on your way to growth in a professional setting. And this person has got to be certified to be able to help you. Many people somehow don't differentiate quite well the difference between a mentor and a coach. Mm-hmm. A mentor is someone who's going to support you because they've had the experience, they've lived this journey that you're in. But a coach is someone who's going to be really good at that. And I love to give an example of a football coach. You can't just say I'm a football coach if you haven't practiced or if you haven't got the skills it takes to actually build a team that is going to win.
Who needs to get that kind of service? Everybody needs it? Is it because of a particular thing that is going on in your life? When do you need professional coaching? Who needs it? Can you just expand on that?
I think that's a great question. Most people don't know they need coaching. And mostly it's because they're not in a crisis. And that's what in my profession I see most. When people are going through a crisis in their professional life, that's when they come to us. But does everyone need a coaching? The answer is absolutely yes. The question is, when is the emergency? Does one need to wait until there's an emergency to do it? Perhaps yes, because coaching is not that affordable yet, especially in the African content.
Yes, yes. And I was going to come to that very question, so let's go there. Now that you've opened that can. How affordable is it?
Today I can say that Africa does not know a lot of coaches, and yet it's something that everybody needs. So because there are few people who are certified as coaches, it makes the service automatically expensive. Mm. However, I think we're going to go in a phase where more people are going to be going through this phase of getting coaches, and perhaps the service is going to be less expensive the more we have more coaches. But because we have few coaches. It's still very, very expensive today, but hopefully there are going to be changes to this.
Iris, why is that so? Why do we have few coaches? Is it that we don't have the schools? Is it that it is very expensive to go and actually study and become certified?
I think what is going on here is that in the African context, we don't think we need therapists. We don't think we need coaches. We don't think we need certain services. We think just we need doctors. That's it. And I think
even the doctors when we're really sick.
Exactly. So it's changing right now. There are lots of coaches that are coming. There are lots of association of coaches. It's still done in corporate world. I think this is where the concept is more grasped. We have a culture where in Africa, if you're not resilient or if you need help, people look down on you as if you're not resilient.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And hence that's why we see lots of people going through mental health crisis because they don't seek for help before. And there's also these sort of challenges that friends will sort of act in as your coaches. And sometimes this is not the best setup to do it. You need someone who's detached from your situation, who's going to help you actually see and look forward. So I think as we evolve and we see more coaches, and especially with COVID that hit, I think more people are realizing that there's more to do in terms of acquiring coaches for life coaching, professional coaching, financial coaches are in the rise. So we're going to see a lot of coaches. And now this is actually a call for anyone who has a specific talent, a skill that they have to actually get, and they love people and they love to support people. The call is there is work to do. We need more coaching in the African continent. So if you have like a call for people and to help and you have a skill, you should definitely be a coach.
This is what I'm hearing is it's a good way to help people.
Exactly.
You have the heart to help. We need more coaches.
Exactly.
And my last question, which I believe a lot of people are going to appreciate. Is this a scam or is it real? Can somebody really get to where they want to go if they spend, because it's not affordable, like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
We've heard of people make a joke and say some of the motivational speakers are the most broke people they need to jump off a motor to come and speak to you about making money, and sometimes it leaves you wondering.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
My thought on this question, and I will talk from experience, is that it's not absolutely a scam. It is not. It works. Coaching works. Coaching is helping someone get to a certain level without breaking them. And that's why it works. It works because people are able during the session to unlock their mindset first, because that's where the major work happens. And secondly, they're able to trace how far they're working, because unlike a therapist who kind of unlocks from your past history the behaviors that you've done to kind of help you move forward, coaches are definitely going in a direction of helping you unlock your potential to reach a certain goal. So it's always goal-oriented, and that's why it works.
How do you measure impact?
So you measure the impact first in the session, because as you work with the clients, you're able to ask them, how is the session helping you? You give them assignments. So the methods that we use are such that as you are in the discussion, they're able to track themselves, their progress. And I love to say, and this is such a great question, that coaches are not there as consultants to actually do the work on behalf of clients, but clients are there to be challenged and do the work themselves. So it's super easy to track.
So it's sort of, what I'm hearing is sort of somebody you can be accountable to, somebody who can kind of like tilt you when you're going off track. Okay.
Exactly. It's like staying as a client as a pilot and you have a co-pilot. That's exactly how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
It was a pleasure.
And with that, we come to the end of my time with you. Special thanks to my guests, Rwanda's ambassador to Mozambique and leadership and career coach Iris Rumba, for taking the time to shed more light on various topics. On behalf of the entire RTV broadcast team, thanks for watching.